The presidential elections of Football Club Barcelona are literally hours away, and there is one candidate who is desperate to win votes in any way possible. Welcome back to Blaugrana Planet and welcome back to a new video, and today we are gonna be talking about Toni Freixa because he has been suspiciously manipulating the Twitter polls in order to make it seem like he could win these elections. Basically, in the last days, weeks and months, there have been a lot of debates talking about the presidential elections on TV, on radio, on social networks, and usually those debates transfer into the social networks, directly in fact into Twitter, which is the social media most used by these journalists. Basically, polls are created in order for the Twitter users and followers of Football Club Barcelona to vote for their favorite candidate. But very fishy things have been happening recently in those Twitter polls, as the amount of votes being casted is out of the normal. I mean, stratospherically out of the normal. And suspiciously, there is one candidate who in fact is actually the least favorite, who is nearly coming on top on most of these Twitter polls. And this candidate is Toni Freixa. And to be fair, I am not surprised at all, because Toni Freixa has already experience in trying to manipulate the socios mentality and also even trying to rig the presidential elections of 2015. Because in 2015, Toni Freixa actually got more signatures than votes, something that is unreal. I mean, it basically shows that you were manipulating the signatures, because basically those signatures are needed in order to actually become a candidate, and those signatures are given by your most loyal followers. And then when you get to the elections, you get the 150,000 members to vote for the candidates that there are. So you basically get your signatures, the votes, the number of signatures translate into votes, plus all the other followers, all the other people that are waiting to vote that haven't given your signatures might be actually giving you the vote. So actually getting more signatures than votes, it makes no sense. It's literally very clear that you actually manipulated or faked the signatures. But now let's talk about the present. And in fact, there are the most important presidential elections coming up, at least in the recent years. And there is a very crucial factor which is in play. And that is the first time in the history that Football Club Barcelona gets vote by mail. It's the first time in the history, and I am not so sure if they have done it properly. So there are more than 20,000 votes that have already arrived to Camp Nou and are being kept in the office until the elections. I hope they are being kept safe, obviously. And to be fair, 20,000 votes is an incredible amount, taking into account that out of 150,000 club members, I think it's not even half of them normally vote. Therefore, 20,000 votes is unreal. I mean, I hope those votes are clear and not being faked. Because it seems that Toni Freixa, by manipulating the opinion of the people, by using bots to win those Twitter polls, when clearly he got, I think, 2,000 signatures back a couple months back. He got 2,000 signatures when Laporta got 10,000. How is it possible that in those Twitter polls you have Toni Freixa competing with Laporta, when clearly in the signatures we know that Laporta is 5 times ahead of Toni Freixa? I mean, something is very fishy, and I'm honestly starting to think that something could be happening. I mean, let's be clear. And in fact, everything makes me think that Toni Freixa is preparing the grounds for the big surprise, right? I mean, obviously it will be a big surprise that Toni Freixa wins these elections, taking into account he's the least favorite. But by manipulating those Twitter polls, he can come out and say, look, see, people were actually wanting to vote for me, so it's not that much of a surprise. But I really hope this is just a conspiracy. I really hope because I'm very afraid. And in fact, there could be many ways that Toni Freixa actually manipulates and rigs these elections. No, one of them could be maybe paying the socios, maybe socios who weren't gonna vote, to cast the vote by mail, or even faking the votes, which would be a disaster. I mean, a disaster for democracy, right? And for Football Club Barcelona. Let's remember that Toni Freixa is dangerous for Football Club Barcelona. We know he has been the right hand of Sandro Rosell, the right hand of Bartomeu. I mean, this guy is literally a disaster, walking disaster. Although I am sure that if there is a surprise and Toni Freixa wins these elections, Victor Font and Joan Laporta are going to investigate, because this is not normal, and they have invested a lot of money, a lot of time in order to compete in these elections. And the most normal is that the elections go between Font and Laporta. Toni Freixa has nothing to do there, therefore there would be an investigation, but this would surely harm the club, because if there is an investigation, then the elections would be stopped and Carles Tusquets would be still the president of Football Club Barcelona until I don't know when, and that surely is going to harm the club even more. So I hope that Toni Freixa doesn't have anything fishy in between his hands and lets democracy be it. The socios should decide freely. Now, having said this, I really hope nothing goes on, nothing strange goes on, and I'm looking forward to what you guys have to say about this. Who's your favorite candidate? Do you think that Toni Freixa, seeing all this manipulation on the Twitter polls, do you think that he could be getting his hands on the vote by mail or anything else? Let me know all in the comments down below, and of course, smash the like button. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notifications bell if you want to be notified as soon as I release my next video. And now, and as I always say, Visca el Barça, Visca Catalunya, and see you in the next video.